How's it going, guys? In today's episode, we're going to be showing you how to diagnose your BMW's 360-degree top view camera system. This particular episode is on my E70 X5 35D, but the same thing will apply to a vast majority of late E chassis models and F chassis models. So when I bought my E70 X5 35D about a year and a half ago, I had an issue with the car, amongst many, of course. But one of the issues I had with the car was that when I would put on my parking sensor button and activate the 360-degree camera, I would get a warning on the dash. The camera for one side mirror would be blue, and it would say camera malfunction, top-down view malfunction, something along the lines of that. And I didn't really know what it was. I didn't really care too much at the time because there was other things to really look into. But an opportunity came up to get a cheap mirror. I replaced it, and my problem went away. However, this isn't the case for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't that lucky. And I'm going to talk to you today about how to diagnose what's the issue with your particular top-down camera system. So there are a couple different components to your 360-degree camera system. For one, you've got this sort of controller over here. This plugs into the car, and these are the plugs for your cameras. This particular model was a 360-degree camera, but it didn't have the side view hammerhead shark cameras on the front bumper. So if you have one of those like mine, you'll have 5 of these ports over here instead of just the 3 like I have. This, from my experience, it doesn't really fail too often. It is mounted in the dash right here, right by your OBD port. You do need to remove this panel. The other thing is, of course, the cameras themselves, which tend to be a pretty common failure point. And you also have the cable itself. So how would you diagnose such a thing? In my opinion, the easiest thing, and what a lot of people have said online to me, is that you can take these mirrors from left to right and you can try and swap them. Of course, it's going to be going the wrong direction, and it's not really a permanent installation, but just for testing purposes, you can test to see if your cameras are bad by just swapping them left to right and seeing if the problem follows the cameras or if it still stays on the same side. If it follows with the cameras moving, and now instead of your left one being bad, your right one is bad, or vice versa, then you know that your camera on that one side is bad and you need to buy, unfortunately, an expensive mirror. If it doesn't follow, then you've got either A, your cable is torn between this and your camera, or this module itself is bad. I would hope that your module is bad because I think to replace the line, it's a bit of a big deal. I haven't done it, but I would just imagine it's pretty tough to snake that cable all the way through and out where it belongs. BMW won't even sell you a pre-made cable. I think you need to splice them and make them yourself. So then you're left with used cables, and it's a big mess. And now I'm going to show you quickly how to disassemble one of your mirrors, take it off the car, and test it on the other side. So now I'm here on the right side of the car. I do have a left side mirror that should be in good working order for testing purposes. Here's our camera. Here is our signal for the camera. And right there we have the plug for the power folding option and also the heated mirror. Step 1, open the door. Step 2, we're going to unclip this door panel as best as we can. I'm trying to avoid removing the door panel completely because we don't really need to. If you want to make it a little bit easier, there is a screw behind here. You're going to open up the handle, and you're just going to go with a pry bar. And this comes out. Put that to the side. Yours may be a little bit more difficult, just because it's been sitting for a while. Mine I recently removed. The T20 screw right down in there. Just take it out. Next thing we're going to do, we're just going to pull on this. Make sure all the clips are taken off nice and loose. And now we can start disassembling some stuff. This is how you remove this section here. It's just basically in there by friction. You run your hand along here, and then you just kind of pull it up. Like so. And that's how you remove this. So now we come back here and we can see there are the cables. There's one of the screws. The other screw is up there, and the last screw is behind here. Okay. I didn't want to do this, but we're also going to remove the door a little bit more. So to do that, I need to remove this trim piece here. There is a screw over here, also T20. And this will give us all the access that we need to those screws. So while it is technically possible to do it without taking it off this far, it's just a little bit easier for me to show it for you guys by doing it like this. I pulled off, basically I just pulled on this on the bottom, and this came off, and now we're in this position here, so I can just remove this screw and then the easy one at the front. I already removed the bottom one. I gotta disconnect these connectors right now. It's just a little bit easier to do it with the mirror still attached. While it's hanging is not exactly the best time to be messing with this stuff. So this one comes off pretty easy. You just gotta give it a tug. It'll come out. The other one, there's a little push tab that you have to push in. Okay, we pulled out the last screw. Now all we've got to do is just pull it off. And we're out. And now, of course, if I try and activate the 360-degree camera, we're going to get that blue screen. The process of removing this mirror and door panel is going to be very similar to the other side. The exception is that over on this side, you don't have a second screw for this door panel over here because obviously you don't have that handle. The only T20 screw you have is going to be behind this cover. Comes off in the exact same fashion, opening the door latch and just getting a screwdriver pry bar, prying this off. You got the 3 screws, 2 cables, a couple clips to pull off, and that's basically it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to plug it in from this side. 100% is plugged in. So we're just going to let it hang like that. And the last step that we need to do is we need to close the door latch so that the car thinks that the door is locked. And now we can test to see if we're going to have everything good. So now let's try it. Let's close our door. Put the parking sensor on. So it works. We do have a malfunction. I think that's just a code from before. If I clear that, that should go away. If it doesn't, I mean, obviously it's a left side on a right side, so maybe it detects that too. But at least we know that it works. It's not giving me a blue screen. So now if you had a blue screen on this side, for example, and because we swapped them around and you did the same test on both sides, then you would know. Now is basically the time that you would say, okay, so if it's switched, now that we have that, we know that my mirror is bad. Okay, I'm not being a parts cannon. I'm gonna replace the faulty part that I know is faulty, and that's it. So now I'm just gonna reassemble this whole mess that I made, I'm gonna show you just quickly how to get to that top surround view module underneath your dashboard.
And now we're underneath the driver's seat area, and I'm going to show you how to get to the 360 camera module. So you got a screw here, T20, screw here, and one more down there. This will come out. Here's that light that I was telling you about. You also got a speaker. So you got a couple things in here. Just gonna do that. And this thing's pretty hot, so be careful. Let me just see. That's it. So I disconnected that light. Once it's out, it's a little bit easier. And we can pull this guy out. Obviously, don't rip this. Don't be like me. And now you might just be able to see it right up there. So there's the tab right there. You pull that, and this whole thing comes out. And then if you need to disconnect it and replace it, that's how you do it. You just disconnect and then reconnect. See how mine has 5 instead of the other one having the 3. These are pretty cheap modules. I don't think they go bad that often. And then you just reinstall. So that's how it's done. And when reinstalling this panel, I got it finally back in. Be mindful of this tab over here. Make sure that your wire's fed through. Pay attention to all your vent holes. And this guy ends up ultimately going over top of the dead pedal. And then all your screws will line up. That's it. Screw it back in and you're good to go.
If you've made it this far, guys, I want to personally say thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you learned something. I know I learned quite a bit in the making of this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.